So I want to start by saying that us women are incredible. We are the reason that humans exist on this planet. We are the ones who give birth to humans and most other species. It's the female that gives birth. And every single month our body is preparing itself to have a child be growing inside of it. And so it's a huge process that it goes through every single month, and it's a very divine and sacred process that we really need to see ourselves as these incredible beings that we are, and to truly value and respect what it is that we go through every month. It's a journey that's in line with the moon cycle. So the average female menstrual cycle is 28 days. That's the same cycle as the moon, and traditionally, before electricity existed, apparently women's cycle was completely in line with the moon. And so we would ovulate when the moon was full, and we would menstruate, so have our period, whenever it was a new moon. So whenever it was a full moon, that's when there was the most light in the skies, and this is when we would ovulate, which means that's the only time out of the month that we can actually get pregnant, is when we're ovulating or a few days leading up to ovulation. And then whenever we menstruate is when we're releasing and shedding our uterine lining, and that would be during the new moon when the sky is darkest. And this happens whenever our bodies follow the natural light cycles in the sky. So because we use electricity now, the light can change a little bit and we aren't always in that flow. But for some women who are either living in very primal or tribal conditions, or who are living out in the country and living off the land and don't tend to use electricity, they'll typically be on that cycle still. So our menstruation cycle is 28 days, which is 4 weeks, and these weeks can be divided into 4 parts. They can also be seen as different seasons. So we've got winter, summer, spring, and fall, and these are good seasons to just represent what it is that we're going through. And I'm gonna start with the first week, which is the week of menstruation. So whenever you're menstruating, not everyone has menstruation for 7 days, but we'll say that day 1 will be the first day of your period. So it can usually be 3 to 7 days depending on the person. And this is a time to be shedding the things that are not serving you and will not be moving forward with you. And so this can be symbolized by the fact that we're actually physically releasing blood in this week, and we can also release emotions, limiting beliefs, even some relationships from our life that isn't serving us or that we don't need in order to go forward in the next stage of our life or in the next stage of our cycle. And so during this time, we're actually highly intuitive and sensitive to other dimensions, and this is a time where we also need to retreat. So to have time to ourselves, this is why some of us will get cramping and things, where it's like reminding us to pay attention to ourselves and to let ourselves get this rest that we need, because in the extra sleep that we get during our menstruation, we can get prophetic dreams. So we can actually see into what's happening in the world or what could happen in the future, or just getting very clear intuitive messages through our dreams and through other states. And so just really taking that time to release what's no longer needed and have that connection within with your higher self. And traditionally in indigenous cultures, this is where we would have a red tent or a moon lodge, and women would gather for a few days during this menstruation week, and they would rest and retreat together in this sacred time. And it would mean that the men and other people in their families would take on the chores that they would normally have to do so that they could go and retreat, because this is what their body needs most in that time. And it would also benefit the rest of the community, because while these women would be in these lodges and retreats and they'd be getting extra sleep and getting very clear intuitive messages, they would then come back to the rest of their community the following week and they would let them know what they saw. So sometimes it was that they had to move their camp, or they would let them know where the buffaloes were, or just different things that they absolutely needed. And so the community as a whole really valued this time for the extra intuitive knowledge that it would bring to the women, who in turn would bring it to the community at large. So this is your menstruation. And then the week following menstruation is the week that leads up to ovulation. So day 14 of your cycle is typically when you ovulate if you're on a regular 28-day cycle. So the 6 days leading up to ovulation, you have a chance of getting pregnant. So this week after menstruation is a critical time for actually getting pregnant, and it's, I don't know if you guys saw that, but something just like jumped from somewhere. I don't know what type of animal it was. Maybe it was a frog. I have no idea. There was a big animal behind me. Whew. Okay, we'll try to get centered because I can't see what it was. Anyways, this is actually the only time in your cycle that you can get pregnant. So some women don't even realize this, but out of the 28 days of every month, there are only 7 days where you actually physically could get pregnant. So this is the time where if you're on natural birth control, this is the week where you do not want to have sex or especially use other forms of birth control to make sure that you don't get pregnant. Or if you are trying to get pregnant, this will be the week where it's possible. So during this week, it's when we feel most attractive. It's actually when our pheromones, which are these hormone like smells that we produce to attract the opposite sex or potential partners, even if you're same sex, like it's just these it's like smells that are emitting from your body that attract others. These are heightened during the week leading up to ovulation, and it means that you physically feel more attractive. You actually are more attractive to people that you're trying to be attractive to. And so it's also a good time where you've got more energy. It's a great time to be more social or even to get projects started. So if you aren't actually looking to get pregnant, you've still got this extra energy, and it's almost like your being wants to have something new coming into it. So whether it is going to be like getting pregnant or if it's going to be the birth of a new idea or a new project. And so getting things done during ovulation is really good because you've got that boost of energy too. You can get tons of work done, tons of projects completed, and feel really good about them during your week leading up to and during ovulation, which then leads to the week after ovulation, which is week 3 of your cycle. And this is a time where you're either going to feel really good about yourself or really like regretful, and it's going to depend on how your week of ovulation was. So if you got extra stuff done, if you were super productive, really social, just feeling good and really in the flow of that energy, then the week after that, which is symbolized by autumn, which is really when you're harvesting what you spent your summer planting, this is where you're either going to feel really great, like I got so much done last week and I'm really proud of myself and now I'm reaping the rewards. Or if things didn't go great for you during your week leading up to ovulation, then you might be feeling a bit of regret, like, oh, I should have gotten this done, and what am I doing with my life, and where am I going, and how do I not have this in my life yet? And you might be feeling really down on yourself and just in your life in general, where you're at, just for not having a super productive week the week before. And this also has to do with how our hormones actually fluctuate during our menstrual cycle. And so our hormones are like all over the place depending on what week we're at. And so this I'll lead then into week 4, which is the PMS week. So that's premenstrual symptoms that happen the week before menstruation. And at this time, our hormones are really like off whack to the point where we do tend to get mood swings more easily. And what happens with this is that this is a time where, because during menstruation we're meant to be releasing the stuff that isn't serving us and is not going to come forward with us in our lives, this PMS week, so the week before menstruation, is a time to get a lot more clarity on which things we actually want to release during menstruation. So at this time we're going to be extra irritable, and that's because we're gonna need space to retreat the coming week. And so if we're not going to have this space, or if we don't have this space right now, that's where we might even like cause fights with people, because subconsciously we were like pushing them away because we want space during our menstruation to ourselves. And so when we're PMSing, we're really all this stuff is like coming to the surface to be shown to us, like this is what you need to shed with your uterine lining next week, is all this stuff that isn't serving you. So even in certain relationships, stuff might be coming up, you might be getting triggered by stuff, different issues that you're having in your life might be like extra prominent during this week where you're PMSing, and you're really becoming more sensitive to what isn't serving you. So it could be limiting beliefs that are stopping you from getting to where you want to be, or it could be certain people in your life. So if you are experiencing mood swings the week before your period, just know that it is completely normal. Be easy on yourself and actually be grateful for them, because what you're experiencing is stuff coming to the surface and showing you that it needs to be released. So whether it's just certain feelings that you might have different insecurities around certain things and you just want to shed these insecurities, shed these limiting beliefs. It might actually be that there are people or someone in your life that is really not good to have around, and if they're the one that's like really, you're just like, I need to get rid of them sort of thing, that could be the time. I know in a relationship that I was in, it was like every time I was PMSing I wanted to break up with him, and it's because we clearly were not right for each other, and that's what my like intuition was trying to show me, like, hello, it's just this guy. Like, it's not that there's anything wrong with him, but I mean, we were definitely not compatible and shouldn't have been dating probably as long as we were. And so yeah, it's a pretty good sign if you want to be constantly breaking up during your PMS week, or if there's just anything that's really coming to the surface that's really like screaming at you that there's something here that just needs to be healed and processed and cleared, and the week of menstruation will be a great time to do that. So I hope this helped you guys in any way understand a little bit about the emotions that we go through, what our body physically goes through during our menstrual cycle, and how to use it to our advantage. And this is also good for planning out your life accordingly, like especially if you've got a regular cycle, then if you know, like, okay, I'm going to be menstruating this week, so it might be nice to have a day off to myself and really do all of these traditional practices, get extra rest and sleep, and really connect to my intuition, meditate more, and just really be extra loving and sensitive to myself during these times. And then if you also know, like, this is the week leading up to my ovulation, I'm gonna have extra energy, this is a time to get these projects done that I want to be doing. And so instead of trying to plan out your month in a way where you're consistently getting work done, instead be empathetic to yourself and know that you're not going to have an equal amount of energy each day, and that if you actually know when your energy is going to be highest and lowest, then you can plan out things accordingly and maybe give yourself a little bit extra work at the times during ovulation. And if you want to throw a party, maybe put it at a time leading up to ovulation, because you know you'll have that extra energy, you're going to be more magnetic, you're going to want to be around people, and that'll be a good time for that. So yeah, and even certain things like if you are in a relationship, maybe don't plan too much around the week of PMS and menstruating where you're like releasing stuff, because that is a time where you could be more triggered because you physically are needing to be alone a little bit more. So this is just to better understand ourselves and to really empower ourselves to know that we are incredibly divine human beings, and we are the sex as females that brings forth spirit into this physical world through giving birth. And it's an incredible gift that we have, and to truly honor and value and respect ourselves, and to not let anyone, if ever, like, I grew up with men and boys around me who like thought periods were gross, they never wanted to hear anything about it, and that made me feel really ashamed. And do not let anyone ever make you feel ashamed for being a woman. Like, this is how we are made, and it's a divine process that we go through every single month. Like, we create human beings and bring them into this world. We should absolutely cherish and value and respect and honor ourselves. So please honor yourself, honor your cycle, and know that you are an incredibly divine and beautiful human being. And I honor and respect you so much, and I hope to see you in the next video. I mean, I won't see you, but you can see me. I might see you in the comments. Just leave a comment, let me know you're here. So I love you so much. Make sure to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and I'll see you next time. And until then, and always, may you be happy, healthy, and free. Thanks for watching.